Hi, this is Mark NB8I, and it is October 9th, 2012, and just kind of give you an update of the shack, I suppose. Gotten a lot of the, it's gotten a little bit nicer, got things up that we needed, and got this interesting collection of stuff, which I think is kind of cool. It's like a whole collection of frequency field exposure signage, which is actually kind of cool. The rig is working great. Made a ton of contacts, just about approaching my DXCC, at least the mixed, so the 100 contacts for countries, and everything's working wonderfully. That's a new addition there. That is the SP2000, which I got in addition to the Behringer unit here, and interestingly enough, the Behringer unit caused, when it was connected directly to the radio, would give me a little bit of RF. So what I decided to do is that I explained in a previous video, but if you haven't seen that, I'm using the FT950 with the LP pan, and that gives me, with the SDRIF software, a second set of basically a secondary receiver. So what I can do is that I can actually use the software output from the sound card, which is down here on the computer, the M-Audio Firewire. I take the output of that and I actually run it to this particular unit, which actually has a different sound. And if we go over here and we do a comparison on the rig over here, it's definitely more of a mid-range push. So what I can do with it is, and there's a little bit of filtering on this, actually like a high-pass, low-pass filter, which is kind of nice. But what it gives me the ability to do is that I take the output of the radio directly to the SP2000, and then I take the output of the SDRIF software to this particular rig over here. And it, believe it or not, it's like it's almost kind of like a filtering effect. You know, this is more of a full range speaker as compared to a very limited range speaker. And it actually gives me, you know, a kind of a different tonality. So sometimes with the filtering that is on the radio here, if you look down here, that's all the FT950 filtering, the roofing filters and such, and also the bandpass filters. It gives me, you know, pretty much all the options that I could want at this stage in my ham career. It's like it actually works out quite well. So I literally have actually three independent receivers. I have the receiver here, I have this particular filtering setup with the SDRIF software, and if you notice here, I have a number of either manual or programmable filtering effects here, and where that green range is on the SDRIF software is basically the bandpass, and I can narrow it, pull it out, and believe it or not, it's like it actually sounds really great. And you can get rid of a ton of QRM that's usually on adjoining bands. It's really helpful for contesting, and also pulling out just weak signals. The more options, the better, in my opinion. So that always works out well. Everything else is cool. I got the Heil Boom now, and I'm using an Audix D4 microphone. One of the interesting things is I've kind of been playing with a number of different microphones, and the best one that I've found so far, which is actually on order now, is the Heil PR40. That thing sounds great out of the box. I've set up the parametric EQs. Technically, there's two 3-band parametric equalizers in the FT950. One with the actual microphone EQ, and also there's a secondary one that's in addition to the mic EQ when you turn on the compression and processing. It adds basically, so in theory you have 6 bands of parametric equalization on here. within a certain range, of course, within a 3 kilohertz range. But nonetheless, it sounds great, works well, and I have the I've been playing with the monitor out into a dummy load, and basically tweaking my audio. And I've had a few signal reports, and I've done extremely well with it. I'm really happy with the layout. It takes a little bit of work and a little bit of knowledge. There's a little bit of a curve there, but at the same time, once the results are in, it's definitely worth the extra time that you need to put in on it. I had purchased through a friend the W2IHY EQ Plus, and had experimented with that at length. And the thing that I ran into is that I still had RF through the unit, even though the unit is RF hardened. We tried a number of different scenarios, but the reality is that in my mind, especially with contesting and just sideband in general, it's almost overkill for the use. Again, I'm a recording engineer by trade, and believe it or not, I love good sounding audio and quality, crisp, clean audio, especially on stations that I hear. The intelligibility factor is definitely there, but to have that much flexibility is almost pointless in my mind. Anyway, that's an opinion. Your mileage may vary. But I found that the W2IHY equipment was a little bit overkill for my particular scenario, and was almost to the point where if you can dial in the equalization here and the compression, you're probably okay. But again, it's just an opinion. Well, I'm going to say 7.3s at this point, and I'll give you an update in a few weeks. This is NB8I 7.3s.